Hello everyone, and welcome to a new series rating chess openings. In every episode, I will be taking one viewer selected opening, and I'll walk you through all of the cons, all of the pros, and by the end I'll rank it on the ultimate opening tier list. And for episode numero uno, I have the Pizza opening, the Italian game. This comes after we go pawn to e4, black goes pawn to e5, we now play knight to f3 here, attacking the pawn, black will defend their own knight, and here we now play bishop c4, and let's start off with the pros. Our bishop, pawn, and knight is very well placed, controlling the center, and we can already castle. But my favorite thing about this opening is how many options we have. For example, there are two main lines here, bishop c5 and knight to f6. Our pawn is now attacked, and for beginners, a great move here would just be play like knight c3 or pawn to d3. Just defend, quickly castle, and we have not that many problems. But if you want to play more aggressively, you can also play a move like knight g5. Immediately start attacking them. A lot of people fall into tricks, or you can play various gambits with moves like just castles here or pawn to d4, and in just about every single line here you have an option to play either a gambit or a more passive way. And this really makes the Italian a fantastic beginner opening because the ideas are so simple and the plan is literally just to keep on developing moves like knight c3, d3, castles, and because of that you will naturally land with good positions that don't really have that many problems. That and the fact that so many gambits here with moves like pawn to b4 or simply a move like c3 to strike in the center of d4, if black does not know what to do, you can already get a great position here of something like a really big center. We're going to quickly castle, and very quickly you can get a superior position. And that, along with the fact that this opening is completely sound by the engine, makes this great at all levels, and especially at the beginner level, people do not know what they are doing. And while I think it does great at that, there are a lot of places where I think it is lacking. Let's get into the cons. My biggest problem I have is that after a move like knight to f6, if you just play like pawn to d3 here and just try to defend, while this may land you a safe and solid position, after something like bishop c5 here, let's say castles, and like d6 and knight to c3, while your position here is fine, according to the engine, it is completely equal, and while that might not be such a bad thing, this position to me is really boring. We basically just have symmetry. It's kind of like modern Marvel movies. Even though it's not terrible, it's not exactly great either, it's more just kind of boring. And the bigger problem here is that this problem cannot really be avoided. Even if after like bishop c5 you go for some like main line here for like pawn c3, and after knight to f6 pawn to d4, if black knows the key move which is pawn to d5 in these positions, you're going to be suffering a lot. For example, after they capture, you can try a tricky line here of pawn to e5 to attack. If they know the move pawn to d5, you basically have no advantage here. After something like bishop to b5 here, they can plop their knight into the center of knight e4, and once again we get a position where you are fine, but it's basically equal, and for me, just way too boring. And once again, this problem cannot be avoided. If here we try to just capture back, after like a check, and knight to c3, knight to c3, you can try to go for some gambit, but after like castles and captures, once again, if they know pawn to d5 here, you would be forced to back up, and even in these kind of gambity lines, you're still going to get pretty boring positions, where black is likely to have a slight advantage. And that is my only con. The Italian is good in a lot of other regards. Let's get on to the tier list. Overall, this opening has a lot of pros and is really good for beginners, but sadly that one con is a very tough issue, especially as you go into higher intermediate territory. So overall, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 and an A on the tier list. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Comment down below what video you want next, like and subscribe for more, and have a good day.